Hello there. The Bible says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. How do you count it all joy when you bury 7 within 24 hours? Find out after this time out. So how are you, Sarah?
I'm okay. I mean, Christmas was not that good, but it's okay.
Why is that?
The memories of the story came back stronger than 3 years ago. Maybe the first year was a shock.
Yes.
The second year was just purpose. And the third year you start really understanding that those people are really gone.
So what's the story?
The story is very, very special to my heart, and every time I see that harp, I just remember comfort. What happened was that I was a society lady, 1999, 1998.
The big girls.
Exactly. Doing toga parties and Hollywood parties and all kinds of
exactly. Caviar.
It was a lot of just trying to fit into the expatriate community of Lagos and trying to do the PR of as a managing director's wife. It was a lot of Sarah's doing party for kids, Sarah's doing a party at night, Sarah's doing a party this, or Sarah, oh, have you been invited to Sarah's party, or whatever. And then I just had a breakdown 1999. I had a very good friend of mine that betrayed me. And I flee to Houston, Texas. And my husband just told me, go ahead and have a rest. And I end up in Houston, where Rita, my friend, took me to church. And she told me, when you have nothing left to face, then only God can rescue you. So I made fun of her. I told her, what? God? And she said, yes. She said, you were not raised Catholic and you've gone through. I said, yes, I know, but there's no God, oh. And she took me. First time I made fun of her, second time I fought with her. And the third time, it was very interesting, she brought me to church. And it was St. Vincent of Paul, this third time. I promise you, the first 2 times, nothing happened to me. I was just there, just staring in the face of a cross, you know. It's the third time. And she told me, just go ahead, kneel down and say that you need him. She didn't preach to me, she just said whatever. And then at that moment I said, okay, if you're there, just give me a sign. Boy, he gave a sign. It was very powerful because the priest at that moment turned, and whatever I said, he repeated. Yes. And he looked at me straight in the eyes, and I just sensed a whole sort of realm that I've never felt before. And I almost fell, and I told her, there's somebody out there. I know, and I feel him. So I went on a search. I studied with ladies in the Bible that are here, they live here, and they do Bible studies. Yes. So every Thursday, first time I didn't show up, second time I could not understand. I was just praying, and I was going to churches, you know, just going to the Catholic Church. Yes. It was just a very slow journey. But in 2003, it was sometimes in March, April, we were about to wrap up one of our studies, and the ladies talk about doing a summer session. So rather than traveling, I stayed in Nigeria for the first summer. And a lady came, her name was Una, and she was teaching us how to study the voice of God. So we sat in a group of people. I remember there was a lady, she's a very good missionary today. She was with me, and she was against white people, that she had suffered a lot with white people. So she came, she sat with me, and she's one of the the witness of the story.
Yes.
Lady looked at me and she said, she gave us an exercise, how to go in silence and listen to the voice of God. So it was a very special moment. And when it came to my turn, she looked at me and she said, do you dance? I'm like, oh yeah, in parties, you know? That's the first thing I said. So no. I said, do you dance? I said, yeah, when I was a child, I was dancing. I was dancing ballet, did ballet, yes, but that's it. You know, I stopped, I was 16. So she said, now listen to me carefully, Sarah. I said, okay. Everybody's like shocked because you have to dance for God. And I'm like, who? So it was just, very foreign to me. I had no idea where I was getting into. And I just, just let it, I let it go. I was just surprised. Maybe it was an interpretation of dancing. It was not really literally dance.
Yes.
And there was so many things, but it was my first sign of the vision. And the second time, my best friend gave me a book, The Purposeful Driven Life by Rick Warren. And it was just amazing. It was 5 days later. I'm reading the last chapter, and boom, it comes out. What about my foundation? And I'm like, what foundation? Foundation for the performing arts. And I'm like, performing arts? And then I see music, dance, drama. I see people dancing. I see myself taking people everywhere in the world. It was very powerful. And I'm like waking up, little girl, I'm just like, ooh. And I go to my husband, and he was just like getting ready to go to work, and I tell him, well, something just happened to me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, he looked at me and said, okay, Sarah, have a good Bible study. There was no way, I could have understood what was just happened. Just trust that there was something out there. And I received very specific instruction. A people I will take to dance, a people I received that I would teach dance. Yes. I received that I would dance for him. I saw the building where I saw people dancing on stage, So there were a lot of things.
At this point, did you know it? Who do you think was speaking to you? Who do you think was asking?
Oh, definitely that voice was a very, very powerful voice. I knew there was something that was foreign, that was not me. I knew that.
So at this time, were you still, had you curtailed the champagne, the party?
No, it still was there, it's still there. Okay. It was still very much there. I mean, when you become born again, there's two ways. You can just become born again and forget everything and just throw your life up. I love people. And I'm not going to be lying to you that I loved parties and I enjoyed it. And I love sharing those moments at these parties. And I still have very good friends, and I still respect it's their lifestyle. I mean, I can't judge them for what they have. Now it's very rare. I don't have any more parties. It's finished. But because it has died out, yes. It has not done gradually. I just canceled like everybody. I said, oh,
you walk,
yeah,
you fall, you get
exactly. So I'm not going to say, okay, suddenly I'm righteous and that's it. No, it's a walk. And
so what happened after the?
So what happened basically? I ended up in September. I went on holiday, vacation, parties or whatever, and I just let it. I just talked about it to people, but I felt I was a bit crazy actually, because people would say she's hearing voices. Ooh, So it was September. I came forth in Bible study, and then the Bible study was about David. And I'm like, David? And said, yeah, it's the story of David. And I'm like, okay, fine. Let's go ahead and study the story of David. I didn't know, I had no idea. I'm not really, when I became born again, I was not really Bible reader and all this scripture thing. I knew that I had to follow and I know Jesus, that's all. There was no big deal for me. But when I got to hit and starting, I started studying David, then there he got me. A man after God's own heart, and then a man that falls, and a man that comforts, and then a man that, I saw everything in David, and I mirrored my life through David, and I saw that. And when it came to the part where he was half naked dancing before the Lord, you know, all this like, somebody dance for God? There's somebody actually who dances for God in the Bible? So it was just a whole shock. So I started talking to my friends in Bible study. I said, you see, I had the vision in May and this is what's happening now. What's going on? So I left it, I just started praying. And I went back to Lebanon for a big marathon organized by my friend. And at that moment, I was sent to a mountain. The Lord had just shown me to go, and I went to a mountain. I walked for an hour and a half, went back into the dark to work for an hour, and I just knew that there was something about to happen to me. Cried a lot on that in Lebanon. I didn't know for what, but I know that there was a big adventure, a journey that would start. So came back to Nigeria, sometimes in October, after the marathon, and then I had a reception for this marathon thing at the Lebanese embassy. So there was a lady there. She looked at me, she said, Sarah, I heard about your vision. I said, oh yeah. You know, I didn't want to talk because they're saying that she's hearing voices now. She stopped the party, now she's hearing voices. So, you know, so I just looked at her, she said, you know what, Sarah, it's very interesting. So I said, finally somebody who respects me. And she says, why don't you pray, or why don't you find a people that is related to your vision? I'm like, okay, fine. So what I do, who am I going to find? I don't know any Nigerians. I mean, I had parties with friends. My husband had colleagues that he was working, and he had dinners with Nigerians, and he had friends. But I, as a housewife, you know, and as a person who worked in SCOA, but I was working with the staff. I was never working with high people or public relation. So I just was a mother. So it was very hard for me to go ahead and get those connections, you know, especially in the entertainment world. So I just prayed. I prayed and I said, God, okay, you want me to do that vision, bring me a people. So I prayed, and I continued praying. And then one day, Christmas time, the 8th of December, around the 8th of December, I want to do a lunch for ladies. But I want to do it in a way that it's very Christ-like for once, you know. I want to declare openly that I'm proud to be a Christian, and I'm proud of the light that I've received, you know. So I invite everybody, non-believers, believers, everybody, the whole bunch, people who don't talk to each other, you know. It was just very interesting. And I'm like, okay, we need Christmas carol singing. This sounds good. So I go ahead and call a friend of mine, and I asked her to go ahead and get me carol singers. And you know, she said, oh, Sarah, I've heard so much about what's going on in your life. You know what, let me just contact somebody. He might do with whatever you're doing, you know. I said, okay, fine, thank you. So she goes ahead and called them, and they come to my house. Like, a gentleman his name was Deji, and he sat with me here. And I said, so okay, so what you gonna sing? What are you gonna sing today? And he said, Madam, we don't sing. I said, oh, you don't sing? But I called for carol singers. I said, Madam, we dance. I'm like, you dance? Wow. I'm like, okay, so you dance, what do you dance? You know, I'm like, you know, no idea. I had no idea, I promise you, I had no idea, it hadn't even crossed my mind. And he says, we dance for God. At that moment, you know, I just felt like the room had frozen in time. And I said, what are you called? I said, we are called Spirit of David. And I'm like, oh no, this is not happening to me. I said, how many are you? I said, 1,000? And I'm like, 1,000? And I asked for people, and I asked for 1,000 people, you know? So it was a shock. It was really a shock. I just, you know, I just fell in awe of what Christ was doing. And so I called them, they came, they performed the song. It was very hard for me to get through to decide, because the leader had to decide and make sure that, you know, that was a calling, you know. So they came, and I knew. Until now, there's pictures where people are saying that my eyes were totally, you know, I mean, I was in another world. It was like a new life, you know. Something's about to happen to you, and you don't know where it's coming from, and boost, it hits you. So I saw them. I had not met the leader yet. And so I asked them to meet, if I could meet the leader. So they told me, all right, no problem, it will be hard, but we're gonna try. So they tried, and finally I met the leader. And we spoke, and I left to Lebanon. And we said, okay, when we get back, we'll try to work out something. We'll try to pray about it, see where we're going from there.
So Sarah, now that all those things came together, the vision for the foundation, you met the dancers, God has sent you all those people. What happened next?
Christmas then. We are in Cotonou. I mean, my brother, my sister-in-law decided to stay in Cotonou. They didn't want to come with my father and I and all these business thing in Lebanon, my husband. So they stayed in Cotonou. And my mother flew in Cotonou. So there was, the family was divided. There was a group of the family in Cotonou, a group of the family in Lebanon. And then, you know, we are a big family, so I have an uncle and an aunt that were married. Actually, it's the aunt of my husband married the brother of my father, and that's how we met. So I lived with them for a while, and they were celebrating Christmas in their home, and we were celebrating in the mountain. And I was with my father that night. And as I can recall, it was a night that it had not snowed yet, so everybody was waiting for the snow to come down. And my father was getting mad at me because on the table I had laid decorations. So the decorations were there, and he kept on saying, "Oh, anybody can take your decoration and choke with it and die today, so you better remove all the decoration." And he was telling that in front of the head of the bank, of the whole African bank, Arabic bank all over the world. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, okay, moving quickly to please my father, quickly the decoration, and you know, I'm just like very nervous. And then my friend calmed me down, she was there too, so it was very tense, you know. And I kept on wanted to seek comfort from the Lord. So I went with my kids, I started reading the story of Jesus to my children. My father said, okay, usually in Christmas we put everything on the table, isn't it, Sarah? I'm like, yes, Daddy, we do. So please, there's no buffet today, just put the food on the table. So I go ahead, carry the food, my husband gets up, try to calm down the situation, you know, everything was, and around 11:30, it was in Cotonou already 12, so we call and we want to wish Merry Christmas. And then in Cotonou, they're saying, I'm talking to my mom, Merry Christmas, and I get to my brother, Michael. My brother doesn't want to talk to me. And I'm like, what did I do again? You know, so I'm like, you know, and I get a surge of emotion and I start crying. I said, why is he not talking to me? Why? It's Christmas. Lord, what are you preparing here? What's going on? Everybody stands, everybody's fighting, you know? So it was very, very demanding on my emotions. I'm very sensitive, so basically I did not, you know, I let it out. So I started crying. My father brought me back and said, enough, go and dry your, we're not finished yet, we have to finish the dinner, we have guests. So stop it, stop the nonsense and come back here and start. So came back, washed my face up, sat down in the table. My kids were with me, you know, I have a 16-year-old and I have 2 other children, so I was trying to tell them, the gifts are coming, don't worry. So we sat, we finished, and everything started relaxing. My father started relaxing with me. He saw that I was not well, so he started showing me a bit of love, you know. By 12, he says, I'm going to go and change. So we come back, I'm sitting, and I'll never forget that night. I'm sitting in my husband's mountain living room, you know, in his mountain's house, and I'm sitting here. And people came from Lagos just for us to go on with the party. So it was supposed to be like a night party for Christmas. And I'm like sitting down, and he comes, so Sarah, where are you celebrating New Year? And I'm like, oh, maybe in the mountain, in the cedars would be great, you know. And, you know, I'm like, I'm finding myself like talking to like a fake, you know, I'm just faking it. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm in another world suddenly. My father comes down, and he's like white. I said, what happened? Everybody freeze. My sister-in-law is crying, there's been a fire. And I'm like, fire? Okay, what happened? And I'm taking it very casually. You know, I'm in my fake mode. So they say...
you have fake modes.
Yeah, I have fake modes. So I'm like, you know, it's a good cover to have fake modes sometimes. Otherwise, you know, we never know what people can do to you. So they're looking at you, and you're looking at them and say, oh, it's okay. So they must have extinguished. No, there's been a fire. In the kitchen? No, in the kitchen. So what happened? And then my father declares everybody's dead. And I'm like, what? You know, a fire? It's just a fire. I mean, you can stay, I mean, you can, yeah, exactly, and that's it. What's the big deal, you know? But I see everybody start talking in Arabic, and I don't understand Arabic. So I'm led to go outside, and then the snow is starting falling, and then I hear, be strong, and boosh, nothing. I did not hear any.
Just heard be strong.
Be strong, and that was it. I entered darkness. I did not sense God. I felt I lost God, you know. It was completely dark. And that's the only thing I remember. I remember sitting at the edge of the mountain and hear be strong. And I remember like I came out, I was not even covered. So my husband brought a coat, they put me in the car. I started crying. I felt that I was alone. There was nobody else. The Holy Spirit was gone. There was nothing in me. So I sat in the car, and then they went down. My father was in front, and we are going, everybody's silent, you know, and we are going to the village to see what happened to that fire. And we arrived there, and I wake up. My husband had not told me who was dead yet. So it was just like getting to, my husband is very, very cute because he does everything in like stages. He doesn't give it to me at once. He starts like first elaborating, oh, there is hope. But then, you know, every time he keeps on saying that there's no hope, they're all dead, you know? So what happened was that my aunt is very religious, and she had put Christmas candles all over the Christmas tree, down where the nativity was. And apparently they had told her, do not forget to switch off all the candles. She said, oh, it's okay, they are just red candles, they don't fall. They're just red candles, so it's very hard for them to fall. They're in plastic cups. The candles are, they're all over the tree, around the paper nativity, the base of the tree where the nativity set is. So she went into her room while my uncle was watching TV. One candle fell, and it burned everything, but the fume burned the tree, burned everything. The fume came out, black smoke came out. And because they had such a very good electricity shutdown, the electricity went off. So they couldn't reach, they couldn't see light. So some of the kids were escaping to search for help, but they died asphyxiated by the tree. Died? 2 people died. The nanny escaped, she didn't even help. The young boy was trying to search for help, you know, so he went out. So when he wanted to come back in with the firemen, they couldn't get through. The black smoke was so much that they could not. So they died. They died by the window, trying to open the window, and they just. And so. I remember my aunt almost died, you know, peacefully. But on my uncle, you could see that. Yeah, so this was the vivid picture I had the whole morning of the 25th of December. I heard something it's not over yet. So, and I'm like, so what now? Don't tell me the plane crashed, you know? I started praying. I started like almost venting in prayers, you know, please Lord, not my mom, not my brother, please Lord. And I'm like, no, I'm always thinking of my brother and my mom because, I mean, these are the closest. I mean, I didn't even know that his wife was there, and the father of his wife was inside, and my cousin was inside. I mean, when I saw the CNN and the crash, and I knew that they were all dead, my husband fell, and that's where I was hit with reality.
So now how many people are we talking about?
So I lost 7 people.
7 people?
Yeah, I lost
within
24 hours.